Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of All Scoring No Defense, the best sports channel. And on this episode, I'm going to give you guys my picks and predictions for Week 12 of the NFL matchups. Let's get into it. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. All right, let's get into it. Now, last week I had a week last week. We're not going to talk too much about last week's. We're going to talk about this week. So let's get into it. All right, we have the Carolina Panthers going up against the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to take Carolina. Here's why. Carolina is going to trying to play for a playoff spot. And with the season coming down to its end, they're right now kind of battling New Orleans for that second place position. And I do believe that the Carolina Panthers should win this game, especially if they're trying to make the playoffs. So this is kind of a must-win game for the Carolina Panthers. So I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers over the Miami Dolphins, 34-28. Next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to go with the Colts. Here's why. The Colts are built to take down a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Colts have a great linebacking set. The Indianapolis Colts have great linebackers that are good in coverage. Why is that important? Because Tampa Bay loves to throw the ball to their tight ends. Tom Brady does. And then the Colts also have an underrated running game. And heck, the Colts are a pretty good team. Ask Buffalo. And didn't I tell you guys that? I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts blew out Buffalo. So I'm going to take the Colts in this one, 31-27. Next, we have the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the New York Football Giants. I'm going to take Philadelphia. Now, this is the thing with Philadelphia. You don't know what you're going to get from this team week to week. It's like one week their offense is high-powered and high-flowing, and they can't be stopped. Then the next week it's like, what in the world is this? Now, I will say this. Jalen Hurts is getting better week to week. His performance or his progress inside of the pocket, man, has it gotten better from a season ago. That just shows you how consistency, reps, and time can make a dividend. But I'm going to take the Eagles in this one, 32-24. Next, we have the Tennessee Titans versus the New England Patriots. I'm going with the Patriots. Look, the Titans, when they lost Derrick Henry, this offense is not the same. And that just shows you how one superstar player can really change things on your offense or your defense. And Tennessee right now is going through the motions of that. And with this New England Patriots team, their offense is starting to fire on all cylinders. And then their defense is shutting out opponents like it isn't nothing. Their defense is playing lights out. And then Bill Belichick is still their head coach. Man, this New England Patriots team is playing good. So I'm going to take the Patriots in this one, 28-17. Next, we have the Next, we have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, I'm going to take Atlanta. Now, when I take Atlanta, that's one of them. Atlanta's one of those teams like, what in the world? Because when I root for Atlanta, they lose. When I root against Atlanta, they win. But hopefully in this case or in this sense, they should beat Jacksonville because these two teams, because these two teams are kind of they're not bottom feeders, but no one's really paying neither one of these two teams any attention. So I'm going to take Atlanta 33-27. Next, we have the Houston Texans versus the New York Jets. Now, the Houston Texans got a win last week against the Tennessee Titans that I don't think any of us saw coming, not even myself. But they're going up against the New York Football Jets. And now I rarely root for the New York Football Jets, and I'm not going to root for them today. All right, y'all know how I am with the New York Jets. It's just, It's going to take a lot for me to root for the Jets. Maybe one day I will. But with that being said, I'm going to take the Houston Texans 30-27. Next, we have the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Denver Broncos. Okay, this game is going to be serious because this is a conference game and this is a rivalry game. And whenever you have a rivalry game, I don't care what your record is. Your record could be 0-15. You're gonna come with your best foot forward only because that's your rival. It's like, man, we want to destroy these dudes. We want to beat these dudes so bad. So I'm gonna take the Chargers simply because the Chargers offense. No. I don't want to word this. The Chargers offense, even though it's been inconsistent at times, I trust the Chargers offense a little bit more than I do the Denver Broncos. Only because Teddy Bridgewater, I like Teddy Bridgewater, but with Teddy Bridgewater's play style, it's kind of a little bit conservative. He doesn't worry you, or he's not scaring defenders with his to take the top off of a defense type of play or play capability. So I'm going to take the Chargers in this one, 34-27. Next, we have the Minnesota Vikings versus the San Francisco 49ers. Okay, Minnesota is a playoff team, and we saw this last week against the Green Bay Packers. Even though Green Bay was able to come back, they weren't able to win that game. And maybe if their kicker would have played a better game, I do believe Green Bay would have won that game. But Minnesota, man, Minnesota is good. Minnesota hasn't been turning the football over, and then their offensive line is playing out of this world. And then their receivers, golly, this team is good. And then their defense is getting better week to week. And then this team has also been this team has been showing that they have an ability to get to the passer on a consistent basis. So it's like this Minnesota Vikings team is good. So I'm going to take the Vikings in this one, 38-28. Next, we have the Rams versus the Green Bay Packers. Okay. This is another game where this might be a toss-up, simply because Green Bay, I could argue Green Bay is really the best team in the NFL. Why am I saying this? Because this team was depleted, and they went into Arizona and defeated the Arizona Cardinals. Now, on the other hand, you have the Los Angeles Rams. This team is kind of playing for, I don't want to say this, stability. Why am I saying stability? Because the Rams are a good team, but they haven't beaten a quality team. They only have one win against a quality team. Now, the team that they did defeat, it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But outside of that, none of their victories were really against quality teams. And with the Rams, their offense is, it's kind of a little bit of, Now, their defense, on the other hand, it's been that same way too. And I thought this defense would take a step up from last year, but it hasn't been the case. Now, with Green Bay is coming off a loss. And, you never know what you're going to expect from a team following a loss. Now, it was a close loss in this one. But me personally, I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams in a shootout, 41-36. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens. Okay, it's time for me to give a little bit of advice. This is what I would do if I was the Cleveland Browns general manager, if I was the owner of the Cleveland Browns. I would sit Baker Mayfield. Why? Because Baker Mayfield is not healthy. You sit Baker Mayfield, and you guys have a bye next week. So that means he gets 2 weeks of rest. And then you let Baker Mayfield play the rest of the season, hopefully 90 to 95% healthy. Because let's be honest, after that first game in the NFL, you're not healthy, or you're not 100% healthy. So that's what I would do. Now, will they do that? We'll just have to wait and see. So with that being said, I'm going to take Baltimore, because I think Baltimore is going to win this first matchup. And then when these two teams play again, hopefully, if the Cleveland Browns rest Baker Mayfield, you get a healthy Baker Mayfield, and the Cleveland Browns win the second matchup, and then that'll kind of help the Browns make it into the playoffs, or make it into the playoffs picture. So I'm going to take the Ravens in this one, 27-21. And last but not least, we have the Seattle Seahawks versus the Washington Football Team. I'm going with Seattle. Look, I'm taking Russell Wilson over Taylor Heineke any day, all day. And I just believe, come on now, Seattle, I know this season hasn't been their best, but it's like, come on now, y'all should beat Washington. So with that being said, that's all for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. I do new episodes like this Monday through Friday, and I'm out.